Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm going to be showing you an updated deck profile. Yes, I said updated deck profile of my Critter Format Harpie deck. So, if you don't know what Critter Format is, it is a format that was after the Yugi Kaiba format. It took place from June all the way until September of 2002. So, it was before Magic Ruler or now Spell Ruler, and it was right after the Yugi Kaiba format. So, it introduced Metal Raiders, which was an amazing set. And the reason it's called Critter is for the monster Sangen, which translates into Japanese into critter, and also the fact that it had cards like Witch of the Black Forest, Magician of Faith, and Mask of Darkness. Also, such other had an effect monsters, which made the set very, 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 for its time, way overpowered because you had cards like Mirror Force, Solemn Judgment, you had Seven Tools, Magic Jammer, and the list just goes on. This was such a fun set, and out of the different formats and stuff, because I know that there is a lot of formats out there in Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, Critter format is one of my favorites. This was the format that I actually started playing. I started playing in the summer of 2002, so this was the format that I was most familiar with. And just this is just a really fun format. It's great for people who have never played the game, who can actually just pick up and play and learn the basics. So if you've never played it, also it is a little bit more strategic because with nowadays with how cards are and stuff being able to pull off like all these different combos and stuff have this a giant setup, this giant board that you have. This was a much more simpler time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it was literally trading monsters back and forth, and cards like Trap Hole, Wabaku, cards were like Summon Skull, Legend, Seven Color Fish, all these were very, very, very powerful. The monster pool was still limited, but you had cards like Legend and Seven Color Fish, who were probably the biggest monsters, who were 1800, and then you had also cards like Mechanical Chaser, which was in a tournament pack, which at the time nobody was able to get a hold of, but it's still considered part of the Critter format. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you my deck profile. This is based off the Harpie Lady, because Harpie Ladies were introduced in Metal Raiders, and this is going to be more of a stall-based deck. The object of it is to be able to get out Harpie Lady Sisters, which is a 1950 beater who can, beat over Legend and Seven Color Fish and everything, and potentially be able to buff it with like the equip cards and some of the stuff that I have in here for you. Also, since I have so much destruction, you don't have to worry about it because I'm running Tribute to the Doom, Dark Hole, Raigeki. I'm running a lot of destruction cards where their monsters cannot stay on the field for more than a turn or so. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight on into it. So first, we've got 3 copies of the Harpie Lady. This is the main monster in the deck. It's 1300, 1400. It's going to be searched out using Sangan or Witch of the Black Forest. And the main purpose of the deck is to be able to get this and use Elegant Egotist as quick as possible to be able to go into your bigger Harpie Lady Sisters. All right. And then we have obviously 3 copies of Harpie Lady Sisters. One of the only times that I would say that you play 3 copies of Harpie Lady Sisters. Harpie Lady Sisters is great because it's a 1950 beat stick and it does so much. It has so much potential, which is why I love it to pieces. This is such an amazing deck overall, and that's why I run 3, because you're going to need run to 3 in this kind of deck that you have. Obviously, this deck is more of, I guess, a gimmick deck. It is actually really good, and it, compared to tier-wise, it can still do a lot. But obvious, and it's better than a lot of gimmick decks and stuff that was around the time, but yeah. So then you have 3 copies of Cannon Soldier. Cannon Soldier is very important in this format because Cannon Soldier has the effect that you contribute a monster to do 500 points of direct damage to your opponent. Also, Cannon Soldier can tribute himself to do 500, but the main object is you're going to want to be able to tribute for Witch, and you're going to want to be able to tribute for Sangan. Now, the reason why you're going to want to do that is this will get you your monster. This will float. This will get you your Harpie Lady or whatever monster that you need. This will get you Witch of the Black Forest, and the Witch of the Black Forest can even get you cards like Wall of Illusion or monsters that have high defense. That's the whole purpose of the deck. That's why I only run 2, because you only need to run 2 of each at the time. And then 3 Magician of Faiths, because you are running a lot of powerful spells in here, and you do need to be able to make sure you have your Elegant Egotist out, as to be able to get that as quick as possible so you can go into your Harpie Lady Sisters. And then for the tech cards, I'm running 1 Wall of Illusion. This is optional. You don't have to run this. You can run whatever other tech card that you want. I just thought this was more appropriate because since this is a stall deck, Wall of Illusion has 1850, meaning is not going to get beaten over by a simple Legend or 7 Color Fish. They're going to have to power it up with the field spell, or they're going to have to equip it with something, or they're going to have to tribute and get a Summon Skull, or whatever to be able to go over this. Also, they're not going to want to do that because they're going to have it sent back to the hand after they attack it. So yeah. And then lastly, we've got Time Wizard. This is just a personal preference because this is obviously my Valentine deck. I thought this would be kind of like, you know, suiting to be able to have Time Wizard. Time Wizard also has a great effect that if you flip a coin, you call it right, you can destroy all your opponent's monsters. But if you flip it wrong, you lose half your life points and you destroy all your monsters, which is perfectly fine because honestly, 250 life points is not that big of a deal compared to like Solemn Judgment. So that's going to be it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. So first we've got your triple Elegant Egotist. This is important. This is what's going to help you get Harpie Lady Sisters out on the field. And then 3 Last Will. In my original build, I only did have 1. I did change this deck around. As you can see, I'm not running Punishing Eagle anymore, nor am I running like the Ballooning Crown and stuff, because that is really hard to focus on getting Harpie Ladies out on the field and getting a fusion. Besides, the fusions in this format were really good. A lot of them were really good, but you kind of have to have a deck built solely around them. And what makes Last Will a really, really good card and very viable in this deck is that the original effect was you would, if a monster, you activate it, and if the monster got destroyed that turn, at the end phase of the turn, you could special summon a monster with 1500 or less attack, meaning you could summon cards like Wall of Illusion, Sangan, or Witch of the Black Forest to be able to kind of stall your opponent out a little bit. And the object was to be able to get like Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest so you could float into your Harpie Lady or any of the other monsters that you had. Then 1 copy of Stimpak. At the time, this was the strongest equip card. This gives your opponent, that gives your monster 700 attack points, but you do lose 200 after each standby phase, but you're obviously not going to have the monster on the field for that long. So this is actually a very, very good tech card in my opinion because it gives your monster that additional buff. And then we've got Tribute to the Doomed. This was better than Fissure because you tributed or you discarded a card to destroy a monster on the field. It didn't matter what position. So, and then for all the rest, they're going to be the power spells. You've got your Raigeki, you've got your Dark Hole, and you've got your Heavy Storm. This is first off going to be Destruction City. This is going to destroy your opponent's back row. This is going to destroy your opponent's monsters and everything. You can run 2 Heavy Storms if that's what you wanted to. I'm just running 1 for the deck right now. And then we've got Pot of Greed, you got Change of Heart, and you got Monster Reborn. Obviously, these are all very important. These are the power spells in the set. You do need all of them to be able to play. Otherwise, you are going to end up losing because everybody who plays Critter format or any kind of the format like and stuff will always usually have cards like these. All right, and that's it for the spells. Let's move on to the traps. So we've got 3 trapples. These are great for your opponent's Summon Skulls or your opponent's Beaters. Essentially, you're going to want to save these as save these as long as you can to be able to stop your opponent from getting that field presence, because since we're playing old school Yu-Gi-Oh, the object is to kind of establish a field that it's not necessarily full of monsters, but to kind of get a one-up on your opponent, because you're trading one-ups with you or whoever you're facing. You're summoning a monster, your opponent's destroying it, your opponent's summoning a monster, you destroying it. So yeah, that's why these are important, because these 3 will really help you out a lot. And then also, I run 3 Waboku, because Waboku can protect your Sangan and your Witch, where you won't take any battle damage, and you can still get the effect off. Also, this is a great stall card other than Swords, because a lot of people, believe it or not, I've seen deck profiles, they don't even run Swords or Revealing Light. And then last, we've got Mirror Force and Metal Morph. Now, Mirror Force is a staple. It's essential because this is going to basically destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. Metal Morph is a nice little tech card because it gives your monster 300 attack points, and when you attack a monster, when it's your turn and you attack a monster, you actually gain their attack power and gives it to your monster. So if you're attacking like a 3000, you're going to get 1500 attack points. And that's just crazy. I mean, that's really, really going to be really good, especially so if you have a Harpie Lady, you're attacking someone's Blue Eyes White Dragon if they had it, then your Harpie Lady will get 1500, meaning it will be a 3450, and yeah, it's just, it's a great way to be able to overpower your opponent. That's why I love this card, and nobody usually sees it coming. There's a debate I've been reading online recently and stuff about how Metamorph should have been part of the Yu-Gi Kaibo format because of like the game Forbidden Memories and stuff, whatever. But honestly, I think that the game is fine without it. I mean, it wouldn't even change it that much. I mean, Reinforcement is still a great card. But so that's going to be it for this deck profile. Now, This deck, like I said, is a lot of fun. Just sort of if you're like playing with a friend or you're just wanting to play in between rounds of tournaments and stuff, and you have this blob pulling out and stuff, and just play and just have fun, because I love this kind of format. I love the different kind of formats that Yu-Gi-Oh has, and honestly, I wish a lot of them were more legal. And the great thing about formats like this is that you don't ever have to worry about upgrading your deck. You pretty much just buy the deck as it is. You buy the deck, or like you purchase stuff for the deck, and then that's it. You don't ever have to worry about ever upgrading it or whatever. It pretty much stays the same as is, because there are no really rule changes or anything. So the deck as is. And I mean, and even now, the game can evolve. Obviously, when, as time goes on and a lot of us players get older, they develop strategies that were in the original format that we may not have known. And as a result, we do, we find out new different combos and different strategies. And it's just, the game is, even though it's like stopped at a certain point, like Critter Format, it's still always going on. All right, so that was going to be it for my Harpie Lady deck profile, a Critter Format. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you ever feel like picking this up, you should totally consider it. A lot of the cards here are very, very cheap. They're dirt cheap, because obviously Critter Format is something, since it was the original, part of the original series. A lot of these cards have been reprinted so many times, so it's so easy to get a deck nowadays, just like with Yu-Gi Kaiba. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and with that, see you guys next time.